Welcome to J Muddy ATV and Outdoors. I am Jeremy Werner. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting our brand new handlebars where they should be, installing our recently reflashed ECU from BNR Motorsports, and installing our mud strap on our brand new handlebars. So anyhow, let's get started on this build. So to get started, we're going to be putting in our reflashed ECU. And now, one thing I'm going to tell you is that your ECU on these machines are located right underneath your CVT exhaust. So be careful when you're actually pulling things apart. And also too, if you notice this little lever, well, the clip here, it goes down and it goes back up. And that's how you actually release the clip. Well, you release your ECU in order to get out of your machine. So anyhow, I gotta get this ECU reinstalled, and I'm gonna get into more details about why it is important to get your ECU reflashed at the end of this video. Alright, so not only is it important to put dielectric grease around your connections, but also make sure you actually slide through your electrical harness and then slide it up in there. But like what I said before, make sure you put dielectric grease on all your electrical connections, especially if you're riding mud. And more than likely, when you put dielectric grease around your electrical connectors, it makes it so you actually don't have to deal with code issues, misfirings, and stuff like that. And I'll ride in mud and water occasionally, but not a whole lot. But I just wanted to let people know that just doing something simple like that will prevent a misfire or something miscommunicating. But you want to put it on the installation. So anyhow, let's get the rest of this ECU reinstalled. Okay, so one thing I really didn't like about the CISO steering stem brace is that it actually, the original stock hardware to actually bolt onto the the stock risers itself, did not fit up the with the steering stem brace themselves. But the bolts that they sent with it does fit through. The thing is, if you get the Rox Risers, you're actually going to have a tough time trying to tighten these up. So I was actually having a whole bunch of brake line and throttle cable issues. So what I ended up doing was I ended up sliding my actual risers up to the front of the CISO steering stem brace and moving the handlebars back to almost around the stock position. And that actually solved my problem when it came to throttle cable and brake line restrictions. So one problem I figured out when you're actually tightening up your bolts for the Rox Risers and the CISO steering stem brace is that the bolts that you get from the CISO steering stem brace don't actually fit if you're going to be tightening up those handlebar risers. If you're going to be reusing the stock risers, I recommend that you actually get different grade 8 bolts. But in my situation, all I had to do was just tip it back, put it to where I want it to, and I tighten them down that way with the Allen wrench. But if you are going straight up, you're going to have a tough time trying to fit that Allen wrench right in there. So my recommendation, if you're going to do it straight up, get different bolts. All right. So my solution will be, since the CISO steering stem brace allows me to actually move these handlebar risers forward. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to take my Rox risers here and I'm going to bend them down and put them in the place where the handlebars should go. So anyhow, let's get to taking care of that, and hopefully when we do that, this brake line won't be as tensed up along with this brake cable here. Alright, so apparently I was installing this wrong, but thanks to Temptations 2003, basically, since we are using the aluminum handlebars, you actually want to use the bigger clamps. In fact, you can bend them and make it so they wrap around the actual handlebar itself. So basically, what you want to do is you just want to slide that through along with sliding the other one through. It's pretty super easy. And then we take one side, very carefully. Slide it around our wires that we got here. Put our spacer in between. Wrap it around. Put our nut on. I'm just going to put it on there loosely because I want to be able to bend the mud. Oh, maybe we actually do want to tighten it. So hold on, let me be back. I'll be back with the tools that I need to just tighten it. I thought I could get this on loosely, but apparently not. But actually, you know what? Just gotta slide it in. And both sides are going to be a little bit finicky because you're putting stress on a rubber component. You know what? I'll be back with a socket and a ratchet, and we're just going to tighten this up a little bit. But all I know is I want mine to be angled like that. Alright, so we're back with our tools. And since it's easier than dealing with the wires on the other side, I'm gonna put mine here and tighten it. I got a 10mm wrench and a 10mm socket. There we go. That's one side. Then the next side. Get it all bolted in. Ooh. Gonna have to clip those wires. Okay, so in this video, we installed the new handlebars, the new Rox Risers, installed the ECU, which that was kind of a little pain in the butt to get it back in, but it really wasn't that bad. And then also we installed our mud strap, which really wasn't that bad to install. There's a few things I had to learn when it came to that. So anyhow, stay tuned for part 2 of this video. It's basically going to be a whole series, and it should be uploaded around this time each Sunday. If not, even on a Saturday or a Friday. It all depends on what I have going on. I got more content for the channel coming, so stay tuned.